everybody. Welcome back. This is going to be part 2 of our Uncommon Loots, that is, our discussion about E3. A really fucking good one. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, this year's E3 has been amazing. Probably the best one in a few years.
Yeah, this is the first time, honestly, that I've paid attention to E3 in a few years beyond reading the highlights or the headlines.
And this episode's going to be the good one. We talk about the good shit.
Yeah, that's true. We got through all of the conferences that were a little bit subpar, and then we got to the ones that were pretty good.
Yeah, but not these two.
No, these two are way better than pretty good.
But before we start getting into everything, my name is Eddie.
I'm Steven.
I'm Ian.
I'm special guest Vance.
Yeah!
Thank you, special guest Vance.
And with that done, let's talk about fucking Bethesda.
Let's.
I'm not even
Where
gonna
do we
bury.
begin?
I'm not even gonna bury the lead because we knew from the start Bethesda was coming with Fallout 4.
We knew.
We knew.
Yeah.
And they came with Fallout 4.
So did I.
I did too. So did everybody
I
else.
think we all did. Whoever makes pants is going to be really stoked tomorrow.
Yeah, a lot of pants makers are just gonna rake in the cash thanks to Bethesda.
Yep.
But
Lots of that.
let's jump into talking about it.
Where do we even begin?
Where do we begin? There's so much.
Let's get out of the way. They talked about a game called Battlecry, which...
Okay, fine. We'll get the lesser stuff out of the way. Since while we do that, we'll try and figure out and think amongst ourselves where we even start on Fallout. Okay, so let's get the other things out of the way.
Yeah, we'll build up to Fallout. We didn't bury
We're
the
not
lead,
actually-
but like Bethesda, we will build to the good.
Yeah, we're actually not building. We literally don't know where to start because Fallout looks spectacular.
Looks fantastic. So they talked about this game Battlecry.
Battlecry looks really cool, and it's kind of a theme that seems to be going along with a bunch of developers, where it's arena shooters and arena third-person combat games.
It looks like a cool game that's not very pretty.
That's true. It doesn't
It
look
did not
pretty.
look very pretty. I don't know if it was just unpolished or it's not. Maybe it's really early in development or what the situation there was.
Yeah,
but it did not look like a. Well, I mean, this is Bethesda. In fairness.
That was the one that it looked like pre-alpha footage, right?
Yeah.
Like it looked really choppy.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Like, what it reminded me of was when they released the tech demo for Mirror's Edge, where, like, way back when DICE was like, this is how we convinced people that Mirror's Edge was a fun game. It looked like somebody made a game with that art.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not...
I don't know. I would have been more excited for it, but between that and Battleborn and like all the other arena shooters that have been announced the past like
Pretty
month.
much Battleborn and Overwatch.
Battleborn, Overwatch, there's more than that.
Those are
Yeah.
like,
There's
either
so
way,
many
Like
that's-
Battlecry does put something refreshing into it.
It's very melee focused.
It's very melee focused. And it's cool. The classes look cool, and it looks like you are fighting for a specific faction. It seems like it might have a little bit of a story.
Yeah.
It's very colorful. And it honestly, like, yeah, it doesn't look great yet, but I'm guessing they'll keep improving it as it goes on. And I bet it'll be awesome. But Bethesda doesn't make bad games, really.
That was 3 minutes for Battlecry, and it definitely doesn't deserve more time than No Man's Sky got at Sony, so we're going to move on.
That's true.
You mentioned last episode that what you felt like was the prettiest shooter of the show.
Did I mention it last episode?
Or was it just a minute ago?
It was just a minute ago when we were talking.
Oh yeah, we were talking about between episodes. That's right.
Yeah,
you mentioned between episodes that you thought that Doom.
Yes, the Doom looks like the best shooter of the show. So fast, so ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
Which is something that all these shooters seem to be missing. They all seem to be trying to slow it down and stuff like that.
They're probably trying to be more console friendly.
Yeah, more console friendly.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just want something fast, especially since like they showed the single player of Doom. Oh my god, it is gorgeous. The frame rate doesn't seem to drop at all, and this is gameplay they were showing.
Yeah.
And you don't heal when you back up. You do not heal. The only way to heal is to kill more stuff. So it constantly keeps pushing you forward just in the design of the game.
Yep.
And then a dude pulled out a chainsaw.
and people flipped the fuck out.
Didn't you flip the fuck out?
I did.
Like,
I'm people.
Yeah, shredding enemies.
Literally
shredding it. What I found funny though was while they were doing the press conference, like, or while we're watching, he's sitting there and he's like, big effing guns. So
Yeah.
he couldn't say the F word.
He couldn't say fuck on stage.
Yeah.
But then
He could bisect an enemy with a fucking chainsaw
Yeah.
in the most gloriously brutal fashion we could hope to see in Doom of all games, the
Yeah.
game that has that originated controversy in video games.
Yes.
What I want to talk about is the glorious level of gun porn that was on display.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
god.
Like, every single gun had its own character. Like, it felt very, very distinct.
That's
Yeah.
true. The shotgun felt.
They had 2 shotguns.
Yeah. The big fucking shotgun.
I think my favorite is, so there's like a regular, like a classic, like assault style shotgun that's got like, you cock it like normal with the
the pump action shotgun.
pump action thing, and it's got like, it looks all techy and stuff. And then what they call, according to the weapon reel, the super shotgun it's just a double barrel sawed off.
Yeah.
That's Doom.
And
Welcome to Doom.
And when you shoot it,
It's like-
it literally rips the enemy apart.
Yes.
They just explode.
Both barrels fired every time. It's one trigger, one reload. You just and then click it down, replace the bullets.
I just felt like every single gun was absolutely dripping in Doom flavor. Like, they really, really nailed
Yes.
it.
Everything.
One of the things that I saw, though, you were commenting on the speed of Doom, but because it does feel much faster than all the other games that were on show for all the other first-person shooters, but not as fast as other Doom games.
Not as
That's
fast
true.
as this Doom game when they showed some of the ways that you can make levels in the snap map system, which was the other big thing they
Which
showed.
super deserves its own
Which
section
it's-
of talking about.
It
'cause
super deserved its own section of discussion, both there and here, where you can fucking in all systems build your own maps. Did they specify whether all maps from all systems would go to all other
They
systems?
didn't say whether it would go to all other systems,
but you can make stuff either way, and it seems like you can customize some of the details of the engine. They definitely said you could build logic into the system, so you might be able to make like
you can
some
make full levels.
full-on levels, and you might you probably can't do the aesthetic assets on the games like in PC, but you can make almost like mod-like levels where you can make an entirely different type of like the way that the game
different
works.
game modes. Like
And they showed at least one map where the guy was running around and it was fast like old Doom.
yeah, it was even faster than normal, and it was ridiculous. But even without that modified speed, it's still fast. Like
Yeah.
It's real fast.
like getting your mind around how fast it is seems like it will be a challenge in itself.
And it gets so hectic, too.
yeah, like it's not like you're only fighting 1 or 2 enemies. You're fighting hordes.
I just thought it was interesting because, like, I had been reading, like, a lot of comments online and stuff, and people were kind of, like, almost complaining about how slow it seemed.
Yeah.
And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, this is way faster than anything else that's been shown. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. What do you want?
yeah, like what? Like, seriously, what do you expect? Like,
They expect Sanic.
yeah, right.
Gotta
They
go
expect Sanic.
fast.
It's gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast like old Doom and like Quake. I'm sure that's what these people are thinking is like, why isn't it just Quake?
Speaking of Quake, the multiplayer
Looks kind of
Looks-
quakey.
it looks very quakey. From the jumping to the way that the arenas seem to be set up. But then they have that cool feature where you can turn into a demon
Yeah.
and literally just wreck.
Yeah, that was neat.
That was really
That was
cool.
good stuff.
Oh, and Vance, you went out. There's a double jump.
There was a double jump. I swear there was a double jump
I swear
in
there,
Doom.
there was a double jump. Is
I'm
what it looked
pretty
like.
sure there was a double jump, which seems really weird in a Doom or in a first-person
In,
shooter in
in
general.
any first-person shooter, says the people that love Destiny,
but I mean, whatever.
just
man.
be like, you know what? Why isn't it 4 jumps? I can do 4 jumps now as a hunter potentially.
I need all the jumps. But,
All the jumps.
But yeah, definitely that just for some reason stood out to me as very weird in Doom. But
then-
yeah, no, it looked good.
yeah,
It did
and,
look good.
And it was all gameplay. Was
All
the thing.
gameplay,
It
all the
was
time.
It was
Yeah.
all gameplay, and
There's
it was
no
a lot of
cutscene.
it.
Did they even show a cutscene?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think they did. I think it was literally all gameplay.
Which is fucking awesome.
Yeah. And then they did have an announcement that was just a
Cutscene.
Trailer,
It's
yeah.
just a trailer.
But it's a cool trailer.
It was a cool trailer, and they didn't spend a ton of time on it. Like, and it was Dishonored 2.
Yeah.
Dishonored 2, and the trailer looks great.
The trailer looked really pretty, and
I was interested.
one of the things about the trailer is it might not have been gameplay, but, and they've kind of confirmed this in interviews after the show, the stuff they showed in the trailer was things you'll be able to do in the gameplay.
Yeah, like that little power that lets you pull yourself to the building.
Yeah, the shadow grapple hook.
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly. So
The little
that's really cool.
mine, the slowing time, and then shooting the bomb.
Which were really, really awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, like, that's what I expect from Dishonored. Dishonored 1 was spectacular.
Yeah.
I really liked it. It surprised me with how great it was.
One of the guys on stage did straight say you can go through a pacifist run.
Yes.
You don't have to kill anybody.
Don't have to kill a single person.
Yeah, you can play the game how you want.
He didn't specify whether that means you can play it with the tranquilizer gun from Metal Gear Solid all the way through, and you're just killing everybody.
No,
but
you literally can sneak past everybody.
I
That's how you
suspect
could in
stealth.
Dishonored.
Yeah, you get so many options in Dishonored.
Yeah, it's spectacular.
So-
Continued the trend established by Assassin's Creed and FIFA of letting us play as girls.
yeah,
Yeah.
more ladies.
More ladies. Well, actually, I guess in some sense they started the trend, because remember, Bethesda was actually the first real conference of the show.
That's very true.
That's true.
And it's not like Corvo's all gone. It is a branching story with Corvo and her, and they both have distinctly different sets of powers. So it's not just a reskinned character.
They're not the same, but very much like Assassin's Creed. They are related to each other, not necessarily by blood. I don't remember.
No, they're not related by blood, but they are related from the first game.
So their stories will again overlap.
And speaking of the first game, they had something else to announce, didn't they, Steven?
Yeah, there was the definitive edition. So it
Yeah.
comes with all of the DLC. So if you haven't played Dishonored before, you'll be able to play it on the brand new consoles with everything that it ever came with.
Yeah.
And it'll look great.
Gorgeous stuff.
Yeah,
they didn't
but they
show
didn't-
it, but like that, they didn't need to.
They didn't need to.
You don't need to waste time showing
Yeah.
the game I've already seen.
Yeah, and that honestly, like those and Fallout, that was it.
Yeah,
no,
they-
well, okay. Well, I guess we should talk about it because it's kind of the elephant in the room. They did talk about their mobile app, which is going to be able to be put into the Pip-Boy. Where Todd Howard himself straight up said he hates second screen experiences. He thinks they detract from the gameplay and they're stupid. But this is the best stupid thing.
Yeah. He did say that. But they also, I mean, their other stuff was in the middle of Fallout 4, and they didn't waste time on it. So they're like,
There was the Bethesda Net.
yeah, they said Bethesda Net, which is like
Which is a
mods
way
are
for
going across.
sharing mods and a way for
Sure.
sharing Bethesda content.
Sure.
Oh, and they talked a little bit about the continued growth of Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited.
I was specifically not going to talk about that because it was fucking.
I'm just
I
mentioning it.
am so uninterested in Tamriel Unlimited that it.
Are you interested in the card game?
No.
That's good, because they didn't seem too interested in it either. They spent literally 3 minutes possibly on both of those announcements
Together.
together.
And then they called out Todd Howard, and he talked about Fallout 4
Yeah. Oh, and
talked-
Fallout Shelter.
and Fallout Shelter, which I've already started playing.
Yeah, Fallout
I
Shelter.
believe you.
Fallout Shelter is a mobile game, but there are no paywalls. And they straight up said, there's no paywalls to this game. You can buy stuff if you want to, but really we just wanted to make a free game that everyone could play, that we would want to play in the inside the office, and now you can have it for
Yeah.
free.
Appropriately enough for us, the only thing you can buy in Fallout Shelter is loot chests.
Yeah, that's it. Just loot. You
Just
can
loot.
just buy loot.
And
sometimes
every-
you get uncommon loot.
Yeah, and every chest is guaranteed to have at least one piece of rare or uncommon loot.
Hooray.
So, we make a cameo.
Yeah, just a little bit.
You could say we have a cameo in a Fallout game. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
MVD, bro. MVD.
Humble brag. Hashtag humble brag.
Hashtag name drop.
Well, somebody needs to be humble with, what's his face?
Yeah, with
Cocky
Todd Howard.
as-
With Todd
cocky as
Howard, the
fuck.
most arrogant fucker on a stage this week.
But who cares?
He's not wrong.
He's
Yeah.
not
What
wrong.
is a bigger deal than Fallout 4?
We'll get to that.
There might have been a few
Maybe.
things, maybe, that
But-
are arguably. But as far as things that we know when they're coming out, and I think that's what we should start with. We know exactly when Fallout 4 is coming out.
Yep.
It is coming out November 10th
10th of
of
2015.
2015. So
111015.
Yeah.
Damn, the binary gets ruined.
yeah, so this year.
you don't know Fallout binary.
Yeah, I do. The language is called binary.
So yeah, it's coming out right around the corner, and I don't think that there is a game coming out before next year that could possibly cause more excitement than this one right now.
I don't think so.
No, not
Not
really.
before the end of the year.
Not this. Yeah, not again.
Are you
this
looking?
year.
Ian's looking at his Nintendo
Ian's trying.
list.
He's trying.
There's nothing, Ian.
Sorry.
There's nothing on that list.
There's nothing on the Nintendo list
say.
for this year or any year
You
that
guys
is
are-
going to make me
you
more
guys are
excited than Fallout
totally
4.
forgetting Yoshi's Woolly World.
Oh,
and I
sure.
am mad at you for it.
I was not. In
No,
fact,
I
forgetting about
remembered it,
Yoshi's-
and I
No, I
completely...
chose to ignore.
I didn't remember it.
You're safe because Metroid Prime Federation Force isn't coming out until
I'm
next
gonna
year.
literally put you onto your back.
I will flip this table.
Yeah.
Oh, don't, please don't. I don't want to deal with that audio
Oh my goodness.
catastrophe.
So yeah, it's coming out on the 15th. Who wants to start? Who's got?
I am really excited about crafting my own guns.
Oh my god.
Okay, and that's the barest beginnings of the crafting system.
So I'm gonna start off with Gearbox a few years ago made a game called Borderlands, and their big tagline was, "We're gonna make for you 87 bazillion guns." Fallout came back and said, "We're gonna let you make 87 bazillion guns."
Hell yes.
Yes. Literally every part of your gun is changeable and customizable, and so many parts just fit together and make the most ridiculous bullshit.
And you make them out of, you MacGyver them out of fucking toy cars and lamps
and
and
all
a
the garbage
globe.
that is constantly sitting around in Bethesda's open world games finally is relevant.
Seriously,
Yes.
I end up just filling my bags with that garbage most of the
It's
time
not
and
all the
selling
time.
it.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's the biggest thing I'm nervous about, because I had finally resolved, I'm gonna play through this Bethesda game and I'm not gonna pick everything up.
I will not have 400 wheels of cheese.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have.
But now you know what? You're gonna craft 400 wheels of cheese into your new armor. So.
Yeah. I'm gonna make my
Make
power.
cheese
I'm
armor.
gonna make power armor out of cheese, because that's the other thing you get to make is power armor.
And that's even still
That's
just
still
the
just
beginning.
the
just the
beginning.
surface.
Just the surface.
They pretty much put Minecraft in the middle of my Fallout experience. I mean, they showed buildings. They showed every element of him constructing a compound,
an
essentially.
entire settlement.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah.
just one settlement, multiple settlements of different styles. Like, he had one
While
that was
breaking
literally...
down others that already existed.
Yeah, and he literally built one on top of pillars that was up in the sky amongst the trees.
Which leads me to one of the most exciting elements of if that holds true and being that customizable, then my Fallout is going to look different from, or my
Your
Boston is going to look different from your Boston and your Boston the
And
longer
so
that
on.
we play.
Yeah, and it'll be incredible.
It did a lot more than just adding Minecraft elements though. Not only were you constructing that compound and basically building a city, but the more of the city that you build, it becomes inhabited by people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Merchants come in and more people start actually living in it, and then you're protecting those people when raiders come and stuff like that.
So it's also
Yeah.
SimCity.
And the raiders. It's got it. There's while you're building your shelter, don't just build a cool mansion, then build a bunch of guns to protect your mansion.
It felt extremely ambitious. They really want you to be able to do anything that you want to do.
Absolutely, and to have that be bottled in that, something that huge be bottled into Fallout 4, where honestly, without that element, I still would have felt like it's a Bethesda open world game I already have more to do with than I can possibly ever complete.
And that's the thing is, it looks like it's going to be a really, even if I'm not that interested in the being a person who built a big society.
Sure.
But that's still going to be super cool. You get your fucking immortal god dog, and you get to wander around in Fallout, in this cool Boston, and
Which looks
explore.
gorgeous.
And you can go interact with the stuff that's already there, and it's fine. You can just be, this wandering Mad Max character like you always could in Fallout, and it'll still be fucking awesome.
Yeah, and he said you never have to touch the crafting system if you don't want.
Didn't feel like
you
it
can just
sidetracked
leave
you at
it.
all.
You can just leave it. But if you want to, it's there, and it's
amazing.
And it's amazing.
By the way, you're gonna want to touch one aspect of the crafting system, whether it's the societies or the guns or the power armor or
Somewhere
everything.
you're gonna feel like interacting with
they're probably gonna have one mission where you craft a thing by guides, but that's gonna make you excited about what else you can do.
Absolutely.
You know what I liked? That you can play fake old school video games on your Pip-Boy.
Yes.
so cool.
Red Menace.
The Red Menace, fucking.
It was basically original Donkey Kong, and then they also had fake missile command.
And presumably there'll be other games. Like,
Yeah.
Like, and you find them in the form of cassette tapes. And you shunt them into the fucking Pip-Boy the way you shunt an NES game into an NES. It's
Just
fucking classic.
The details in that game are incredible.
Outrageous.
They're just ridiculous. It's like they paid attention to everything. Even the menu is just something special to be in.
Yeah.
Because they know you spend a lot of time there. You don't want to just look at something boring. And they just put all this effort into it.
And just to, I guess, touch on some of the more concrete elements, they made sure to make it clear that the VAT system is still returning. So
Absolutely.
gameplay looks like it's going to be fairly preserved from Fallout 3. You know, they were very clear in the combat to do some of it in real-time standard shooter style, do some of it in VATs, you know, show you all of these features are still gonna exist.
Yeah.
It looked like, you know, gameplay wise, we're getting it's just so much in this game. There's so many things going on.
I don't know how to even think of setting aside time to play it. Like, there's so much.
It really feels like one of the first games to come along that I'm saying, like, wow, this is what we're seeing on the next generation of hardware that would have been just wildly impossible on the previous generation.
Yeah.
You couldn't have made this.
No, absolutely. This is a next-gen game.
And so one of the things they talked about for the society building aspect is, in addition to like pulling in your caravans, or your traders and shit, you can now set up caravans. So you can actually set up more than one little town across the city of Boston. So
and
you can
presumably
have
all of them need to be defended, and you can't be at all of them. So you could come back to your town that you didn't put up enough defenses for,
and find it
that thing is
annihilated.
wrecked.
Rated.
And your fucking AI people will, ignoring separate from that, your AI people will be trading with each other. So, you know, maybe you like that. To me, that says that there might be certain types of materials and components and stuff that are easily found in one area, and you might end up finding those things at a shop in a different city where you set up the towns in both places.
Yeah.
You know, you might go to, like, you set up a thing next to the MIT, and there's, like, a bunch of old shitty tech stuff, and then you set up another one in the suburbs, and the suburbs people might start trading and getting a bunch of tech stuff from the MIT guys, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely
So
incredible.
The only thing they didn't say about that is that when they first did trading between caravans, the first thing I thought is, why aren't they telling me that my caravans will go to Vance's caravans?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was waiting on too.
I was waiting for some sort of multiplayer component, because that would just have. I don't think I would have ever needed another game, though, if they had done that.
Yeah.
Like, there would not be a reason to stop playing Fallout 4.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with them keeping it to being a single-player game. Some asymmetrical multiplayer
That's
elements
what I
would have
wanted.
been really cool.
I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to
or
be
asynchronous, rather.
I
sorry.
didn't want it to be something like Metal Gear Solid 5 where you can attack other players' bases or whatever. I don't want to be the raiders. I just want like a Dark Souls style thing where when I send off a caravan, it might go to one of my other settlements. It might go mysteriously through the ether to somebody else's settlement. Like, all I know is I send off a caravan.
Yeah, and it comes back.
Disappears, and it comes back, and it's got other shit.
Yeah, and the guy's like, we met a new trader recently, and he had materials that we hadn't seen before. And it was, and like, some of the stuff will say, like, they'll have a gun, and it'll say created by Vance.
Yeah.
Could have
I'd be
definitely
like-
been a cool element. I just feel like with the amount of overstuff that game already is, I feel bad complaining about anything that isn't in it.
I'm pretty sure they know that you're going to cut all social ties once the game comes out anyway. So it's you're not going to have friends. Don't worry about it.
The last lifeline you can have, though, would be, like you just said, gun created by Vance. Why not have the opportunity that I might end up getting the custom-built power armors and guns that my friends created in their games?
Yeah, or at least, like, maybe not necessarily them, but like a blueprint for them or something.
Sure. Yeah, or
like,
something.
It just, like, you create a blueprint for something awesome. The trader says, hey, have you built anything new recently? Want to show me what it is? And you show him what it is, and he's like, great, and he pays you some money every time that someone buys one of your blueprints. Something asymmetrical like that. That would be really cool, because it'd be a way to, like, and it only goes to your friends list. So it'd be a way to just like share your creations and stuff with your friends.
I don't know if I want to share my creations with my friends in the wasteland, man. It's a lonely, dark place, and I don't trust any of you. You're gonna give me some bootsy, like, rigged power armor that falls apart at the worst possible moment.
You're gonna get Eddie's cheese armor.
Yeah, I'm gonna get cheese wheel armor and be like, oh, this says it's really good, but first dude who shoots me is gonna fucking spread me on toast or some shit. It's terrible.
Best armor game of the year. Fucking 10 out of 10.
Cheese armor.
Cheese armor.
Oh man.
So just to touch on a few, like, just quickly, other elements, getting to see the world before the bombs drop. That's pretty cool.
That's super cool.
It doesn't look like it's going to be a huge aspect, but it is interesting to get to see it.
Yeah.
And the character creation looks amazing, as always. I mean, like, it just looked very organic and intriguing.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah, no sliders,
fussing
no
with
menus,
sliders
nothing.
and
Just
bullshit.
just literally grabbing the face and
Grab it and move it. Yep.
Yeah.
I think that looked really awesome. The story, I like that they didn't give us almost anything. We got a little hint of I've been asleep for 200 years and didn't realize
we don't know why, but
and
that's
I don't know, maybe I'm looking for my family. I found my robot and my dog, so that's cool.
But
It's not his dog though. It's a
that's
dog.
true.
It's a dog.
It's now
And
my dog.
That's the thing about Fallout games, though, is that's about as much story as you get.
That's all I
Fallout 1 is we don't have water anymore.
Figure it out.
Go get some.
Yeah, but then what Bethesda does really well is they let you find the story.
Absolutely.
They give you a problem and then you go try and solve the problem.
And they do a great job of making it feel like this is a world that's existing and things are happening in it that may or may not have anything to do with your main quest hero.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure MIT is going to be a huge element and probably how the storyline goes forward, but there's going to be huge sections where you go and find a place that has a thing going on in this settlement, and who cares? You get to just choose how to interact with it.
I honestly can't wait until we can sit down and have the Fallout discussion.
Absolutely.
Where all of us have been playing it for like a month. And
get to talk
we
about
come
it.
and we sit down and we just talk about it. And I tell you about what happened in this city and you're like, wait, that could happen in this city?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then each of you has a different story of what happened in your city.
It sounds like they really have given us all the tools to have one of the very first, like, truly open world, unique, defined by player experiences.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
But we thought that was going to be the biggest thing of the show.
Yeah.
Like, we thought that who could top Fallout? How could you top Fallout? And as I said, there isn't anything coming this year that can top Fallout. But then Sony had a press conference. And
Sony had a hell of a press conference.
holy shit.
Yeah.
Non-stop, from beginning to end, holy shit.
They didn't start with a video or anything. They they started with a sizzle reel like they always do. That had a suspicious robot.
And then they came out and they had one guy say, "We thank you guys for coming," do the usual PR spiel that lasted less than a minute.
Yeah.
And then
they didn't talk about how many millions of units they've sold.
No. And then he walks
That was
off
actually
stage.
felt so cocky that they did not mention sales or anything
nothing.
one time. They
Yeah,
just
they-
said,
you
know what?
already know.
You guys know. Here's the shit. Here's
Yeah.
the shit you bought it for.
They didn't even say, "Here's the shit." He just turned around and walked away, and the whole screen faded to black.
Drop the mic.
Yeah.
The whole screen fades to black. And then, up on the screen, PlayStation.
Didn't he say a new game that needs no introduction? He says a new game that needs no introduction, and
just
then left. He didn't give it an introduction.
Yep.
That was it.
And he did not 7 false start introduction.
No,
Introduction,
just
yeah.
it needs no introduction. I'm out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then shows it.
And you see the black screen, and then the godlight comes out, and you're like, "Is this what I think it is?"
Yeah. Are they starting with this?
Is it,
and then a
no.
feather?
And then the feather, and you're like, "That's the feather, right?
That's the thing.
feather."
There's no way that's the thing.
And then you see a bird dog.
Oh my god, the bird dog and the boy!
Bird, dog, griffin, cat.
Yep.
What
Whatever.
was the most amazing thing to me is that we've never seen the game being played.
No, absolutely not. Not even close.
This was the game being played.
This was 100% gameplay.
This exists.
It's a game. They just played a puzzle. They played a full puzzle.
Yeah.
And showed the behavior and interactions of the two characters, which looks fantastic.
Looks
They're
awesome.
helping each other, and they have different strengths and weaknesses.
And the little
obvious
bird dog is
benefits.
scared of the eye-shaped machine, and the boy has to get rid of the eye-shaped machine because the bird dog won't move without it.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear, we're talking about The Last Guardian.
Yeah, I'm
We
sorry.
didn't actually
Sorry.
say it.
Did you not know who the bird
It
dog
did-
Of
was?
course we did,
It
but I
didn't
felt
need
like
any
we should
introduction.
say
It
it.
didn't need any introduction because they were showing video. We're actually talking, so we have to introduce it some way.
We should mention.
This is The Last Guardian, and holy shit.
It looked great. It looked friggin' fantastic.
It looked amazing.
They made me like so cringe on the edge of my seat when like they set it up so clearly. They had the first jump and you're like, oh, is he gonna make it? And he catches him. And then the second jump where you're like, oh, is he gonna get? Oh my god, he missed him!
He's gonna fall, and then you see it slow mo. The bird swings the tail,
Catches the
He's
tail.
gonna catch the tail, and he catches the fucking tail, and then he climbs him like a
back around.
fucking colossus.
Yeah, and then from there you're riding on the bird dog, and then they try to make another jump, and the bird dog kind of makes the jump, but now he's like hanging on the fucking ledge, and you can see the ledge crumbling, and you're climbing up the bird dog like you're climbing up a colossus, and you get around, and you're like, fuck, I can't pick you up, like you picked me up, I don't know what to do, and like you give them a little grapple thing, and then they jump up, and then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
So obviously we don't know a huge amount about how the gameplay is going to play out yet, but the idea behind finally making a game that essentially in some ways boils down to being an escort mission actually fun, because it doesn't look like you actually have control.
I had fun watching it.
Absolutely.
I had fun watching it. Like, let me play it.
Yeah, no, because it looks like you can suggest things to it, but it looks like a lot of the gameplay was just organic. Like when he made that jump and he got caught, I don't think he pressed a button for that. It was just, the game had the logic to play that out in a way that was organic, and it looks fantastic.
Are you getting ready to talk about the my favorite part of the thing, which was the first jump? How you showed the bird to jump?
I honestly don't remember, actually.
So this was the moment for me that was like, this isn't just a video game where you call him and make him follow you around and you point him at stuff. The kid walks up to the ledge, and you can see that you can't make the jump, but the bird dog can, and so you walk over to the thing and you're like, bird dog, bird dog, bird dog, and then he starts jumping and like motioning at the place.
Right.
And by you jumping, the bird dog figures out that it's supposed to jump.
Yeah.
And then it does. And then it kind of falls. It's too big for the platform, and it crumbles, and it looks around at you, and it looks back at you, and it's like, are you coming? Like all sad puppy-like.
I don't know. I'm not very good with animals. I expect frustrating levels of immersion with this game.
That's true.
Ian's just gonna sit there and he's just gonna let the bird dog just push his head against him like my dogs.
Yeah.
Dog's just gonna put its head in his lap. You're too big
what do
for
you?
this.
It's like, what do you want? I just fed you. Jeez.
There are going to be so many roommates and kids and significant others and parents and whoever is not playing the game who are just going to be confused as to why their family members and friends are shouting at TVs trying to tell a thing what to do.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
I can't wait.
It's so pretty.
And that's how they start.
Yeah.
That's what they start with.
So PlayStation 4 2016, right?
Yeah. Spring or something. I don't know. They said 2016.
Definitely 2016.
But it's alive, it's happening, and it will be out eventually.
And we
for
saw
sure.
gameplay that works.
It is not vaporware.
It is a real game. And then they showed something else. They brought out a team that we're familiar with.
Guerrilla Games.
Guerrilla Games.
Oh man, I'm
Guerrilla
excited about
Games
this
makes
one.
Killzone.
Yeah, and we're like, they pull out Guerrilla Games, and I'm like, oh, cool, a new Killzone.
You would assume, like,
And
right,
then-
it's time for the PlayStation 4 Killzone. All right,
And then he starts talking about how they wanted a new opportunity to make something original and creative and like really flex their muscles that they've learned on their past games, and you're like, not Killzone?
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, when someone says that, you're like, oh, okay, so you're gonna make another first-person shooter that's kind of like Killzone, except for with a different skin.
Killzone's gonna have a bunch of new features, maybe, or something.
Yeah,
along
or
those
something
lines.
like that.
Or you're gonna tell us about how you're working on this new technology and it's gonna be really cool and we can't wait to show you next E3.
Yeah, but no, that's not what happens.
Not today.
No,
No.
it fades out and it shows this beautiful apocalyptic wasteland that's
And a story
green.
and it's story trailer. You start with this. You see a story trailer at the beginning.
Yeah.
You're like, there's somebody. It's over narration and cave people and
You got cave paintings.
And way, way more post-apocalypse than anything I think we're really used to seeing. This wasn't Fallout post-apocalypse where the bombs just went off and everything
No,
is
this is
destroyed.
realistic. This
You
is
see-
like the apocalypse happened
A long time ago.
A long time ago,
Long time
and
ago,
things
like,
have-
people
things
don't
are
even
green.
remember the concept of stuff being before the apocalypse.
Yeah.
This is like. This is the kind, like, people in this society see the buildings that we built and think of them as confusingly as we see Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a thing that was there always.
Yep.
And we're like, oh, this is a really cool thing. I'm so happy that they showed us this story trailer.
Absolutely.
And then the character walks out onto a field
and it seamlessly is gameplay.
Yeah, get straight into gameplay.
You get a
The thing
tiny
is-
UI, and that's how you know that they're playing a video game.
And it looked like the cutscene.
Yep.
It was fucking gorgeous.
It
And
looked
you're
beautiful.
playing as this female cave person, I guess.
Like-
Their
Tribal
technology
style.
level was ridiculously low.
She was obviously a tribal hunter.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
definitely a hunter.
With a compound bow, admittedly.
it's a very Native American aesthetic. They had a compound bow, but the compound bow looked like it was cobbled together with old tech
Yes.
stuff. But like
It looked
maybe
very scavenged.
it felt like maybe they didn't really know what the tech stuff was. They just
Sure.
knew that if you stuck this to this and put a string on it, you could shoot stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you look over, robot dinosaurs.
Which really
Yeah.
is the only two words you need to put together to get me to play a game.
I didn't even need to have the cool
I
backstory
didn't
to
need
it.
anything.
You literally could have just been like, this is a game where you do rock, paper, scissors, and then robot dinosaurs fight each other.
You could have honestly just shown me a black screen that said the words robot dinosaurs on it, and it said, here's my $60.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's amazing, but instead they show you. First you get the Jurassic Park scene, where the original Jurassic Park, where you just look out over the field and just a field of dinosaurs comes out. Yeah, music kicks
Like,
in.
that's enough of that. We don't want to get in trouble.
And you see the big dinosaurs, and you see the little dinosaurs that have some sort of canister on their backs. And your character runs down, and she shoots at one of them.
Yeah,
and
she needs the canisters for some
She knocks
reason.
one of them off, and she's like, "All right, that's one. I need two more."
Yeah.
But when she hits the first one, they all start panicking, and now you're trying to get the canisters off of running dinosaurs, and shit's going crazy. and
Panicked
everybody's
herd.
running, and then
The T-Rex.
Yeah, big mechanical T-Rex, robot T-Rex comes in,
And it's huge.
And you don't run away, you fight it.
well, she ran away.
Well,
she ran away like
She
30
tried.
feet.
she ran away to reassess the situation, and then figured out, hey, I can fight this thing.
But
Yeah.
the point was
Not to
she
mention-
fought a robot T-Rex.
She ran, and then they showed off that, like, these environments are not static.
Yes.
They're destructible.
Yeah.
She runs through this hole in these rocks, and this dinosaur just plows through the rocks.
Yeah.
It doesn't care.
Just doesn't care.
And then she turns around and she's like looks at it, and you see her pull out her bow, and she like shoots it a couple times, and then it shoots fucking missiles at her.
Yeah, and she has to dodge, and she's getting hit this whole time. Like, it's not good. It's bad stuff for her.
Yeah.
And you see it, and then she takes it on. You see like a full-on monster hunter fight where she slides under the thing and shoots it from below, and she comes around and she shoots off the missile launcher, and then she picks up the missile launcher and shoots the thing with its own missile launcher, and then she
eventually gets the crazy grappling line
Yeah, she
and starts
pulls out
attaching it to things.
a grappling line that we had seen previously in the story trailer being given to her by a village elder or something.
Yeah.
And she, like, at first it took a second to figure out what it is. She shoots the thing, and then she shoots the ground. And then she shoots the thing, and then she shoots the ground.
She's anchoring it,
and she
basically.
anchors it fucking Lilliputian style. And for you non-literature people, that's like the tiny people and travelers, Gulliver's Travels. She ties it to the ground and then fucking comes up and finishes
Coup de
it the
grace
fuck
the
up.
thing.
Yeah, stabs it in the chest with
In
a
the
spear and
robot
rips
part.
out his bits and kills a goddamn robot
It
dinosaur.
was pretty glorious.
And it's new. It's a
new
new
IP.
IP.
It's original,
again.
actual new IP, and,
And it
like not a new
works.
India. That's a triple A, big ass fucking game.
And they started off with fucking gameplay of these. They didn't give you filler. They're like, here's a little bit of story for Horizon, but this is gameplay. Like, this is the game.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right now.
Good times.
it's Horizon Zero Dawn.
There's also
Keep a fucking eye
also
on it.
one hell of a set piece, like
Yeah.
way
Oh my
stronger than
God.
anything else that we had really seen before at E3.
Yep.
And honestly, like the setting and pretty much everything about it really, really gave me strong enslaved vibes. Enslaved Journey West.
Yeah.
it was
by Ninja Theory.
Yeah, it was on PS3 and Xbox 360. Fantastic game, but the post-apocalyptic, really, really like lush scenery. It was just incredible.
Yeah, the world is alive in a weird way. And it just looks, it's so cool.
So cool. So freaking cool. Do we
what else
do
do
we
we
want to Well, let's slow it down
So
for
they,
a second.
so, yeah,
Let's
so
slow
they
it
slowed it down.
They showed Hitman.
They showed Hitman.
Hitman
Right.
looked really cool. Like,
Hitman, yeah, it
there's
was a
nothing
cool
wrong with
trailer.
Hitman. It looked really cool. It looks like it's gonna be a solid game.
At this point, we didn't know it was Hitman either. They showed like a trailer, and we're like, what is this game? This looks really cool. They got us excited, and then they're like, oh, it's a Hitman game.
And we're like, wow,
I'm
that's
like, wow,
really cool.
That's cooler than I thought I was gonna get for a Hitman game.
Looked like a good Hitman.
And then they show Hitman. And then they show Street Fighter.
Street Fighter 5. It's coming in March.
And I'm not a Street Fighter fan, but I know people who are, and that's great for Street Fighter people. Like, that's a big deal that Street Fighter's only on PlayStation.
Yeah, but they basically just showed like a sizzle trailer, like a hot, like this is a cool game. It's a teaser.
Where they showed a couple new characters. They showed Cammy off, and they showed what's the new guy's name? I can't remember.
I don't know, something.
Yeah,
Birdie?
Birdie.
Oh wait,
Birdie.
no, Birdie was a returning character from like Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Well,
or
yeah, so was
something.
Cammy. But
Yeah,
but
Cammy's-
point is, like, they were new
Yeah.
announcements.
They're new characters that we hadn't seen before in Street Fighter 5, and they showed some really good gameplay footage. It looks like a really good Street Fighter game. It looks pretty. I'm sure people who understand Street Fighter better might have noticed whether or not they showed actual new mechanics.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell, but...
But it looked like Street Fighter.
But they didn't
and that's
spend 15 minutes calling it out. They're like, this is a thing. It's coming in March. Check it out.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Gonna get to No Man's Sky.
good.
Yes.
You can get to No Man's
You
Sky.
can absolutely get
They
to
came
know
out
this
and they're
guy.
like, there's a fucking game you want.
So, No Man's Sky, I honestly haven't been super excited for No Man's Sky until they did this trailer. Like, they only gave this...
Wait.
Well, not
This
trailer.
wasn't a trailer.
This wasn't
Yeah.
a trailer.
They-
This was straight up gameplay.
Yeah.
Not
They-
only was this gameplay, but this was gameplay with the guy playing the game, with a controller in his hand, live.
And
Yeah.
they only gave this poor guy 3 minutes to do what he had to
Yeah,
do.
it was fucking
With
great.
probably the biggest game, like even counting Fallout, the biggest game at the show.
And,
Yeah.
and the entire time, this guy is just laughing like, I only get 3 minutes, and I'm showing you so much, and there's so much more for me to show you.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
Like, I'm sorry, guys. like he shows there's a dogfight, and he's like, I'm sorry, guys. I was gonna show you more of that dogfight, but I only have 3 minutes, so let's
It's like-
fucking roll it up.
He's like, you have to.
let's
He's
zoom
like,
out.
you have to understand. I know this looks like an epic dogfight, but there's like 4 million of these going on
happens all the
right
time.
now.
Literally everywhere. And
he
you can
zooms.
even-
He
how
zooms
many?
out. He zooms out, and he's like, you have to remember that every single one of these is a sun, and every single one of these suns is home to a solar system that is home to a galaxy, whatever. And he zooms out for like just
Forever.
For
yeah,
like
it's
30
like
seconds out of
30
3
seconds
minutes.
of zooming out, just tons and
Forever.
tons.
And
It just
keeps
forever.
going.
Yeah.
And like when he finished zooming out, it didn't look like he was done.
No.
Well, I think he could have kept zooming out.
It
he
felt
really
like he could
could've.
keep zooming out.
Yeah. And then he goes and he's like, well, they gave me the okay to do this while we're here. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're gonna show you a planet that we've never been to.
Yeah. We're just gonna pick a star at random. This might not be a good idea. I hope I don't get blasted by mercenaries.
Yeah.
And
He
then
picks
they
a
warped.
star, and he warps.
Yep.
And he flies down, and that transition from space to ground.
Yeah, he
Oh, God.
does the warp, and you jump into the system, and you can see the planet, and there's like a weird structure there, and you don't know what that's all
Flies
about.
What-
straight into
What
the
was really
atmosphere.
like both beautiful and kind of sad is that he points out that this is a planet that's never been explored before, and he said there's like several thousand planets out there that will either have never been explored or will possibly never be explored.
said- There
Oh,
are-
no. Way more than that. There are more planets than I can say the number of that are never going to be found.
Yes, there is a functionally limitless universe that they've constructed because of just the insanely
I think
powerful.
they said at some point a few times ago that there's so many planets that if every human being on the planet just stopped doing everything else for the rest of forever, and we all became immortal, and we spent 1 minute going to each planet, and we all worked together, the sun would die before we got to all of
It
them.
was
Yeah.
they have such a new, unique procedural engine that lets them generate
Yeah.
things on such a ridiculous new scale.
Yeah, like he had to actually adjust the code for this demo because he was like, in order to get it within my 3 minutes, I had to make it so the beacon would appear on the planet.
Yes.
Like
Close
that's what
to
he
me.
did. He
Guaranteed
didn't make
beacons
the
would
planet.
show
He
up.
just had to make sure that the beacon would be there.
Yes.
So he was like, whatever planet I go to, there's going to be a beacon close by, and he flies down to this beacon, and then he's like, he just starts wandering around, and he starts discovering these new species, and as he discovers them, it shows up, and it's just like discovery,
And
he's
then-
like, look, fish, look, scanning, look.
Before he did that, he was like, oh, by the way, pow pow, you can blow up anything on any planet.
It's all destructible,
The whole
and not
planet
just
is
destructible, but harvestable.
Harvestable. So you shoot a rock, you get some stuff out of it. And the way he talked about it, it sounds like you could, if you had the, maybe they may not put this in, but if you had the technology, you could theoretically Death Star a planet.
Yeah.
And fucking harvest
the entire planet. Like, oh my god.
What?
And all of this happens in just 3 minutes.
In just 3 minutes.
And-
like, it's all seamless.
And he gets attacked by giant robots who apparently self-replicate and protect the universe.
And
Yeah,
protect
yeah.
the universe.
He's like,
They get mad when you try to Death Star planets.
Yep. So I kind of got the impression from this point that they were kind of moving everybody along like really, really quickly. It was just like
when you're only giving 3 minutes to No Man's Sky, a game of that magnitude, and
it's such a big deal because it's an exclusive.
and it's, oh my god.
Well, it's a timed exclusive, but
Is it?
yeah, it's
Like-
technically a timed exclusive, but nobody else has even talked
like
about
at the
it.
at the end of each video game presentation, the host would always just be like, "Okay, next. Like, here's the next one."
Yeah, let's go.
Just like
Let's
move
roll
it along, like super
One last
quick.
thing I wanted to say about No Man's Sky that I thought was fantastic is when you got to the beacon, he uploaded his new findings just like Space Dandy.
And then he got paid for it.
And he got
And he
paid
got
for
paid
it.
for it,
Just to
just
say
like Space Dandy.
that your exploration actually fuels your ability to continue playing the game.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Playing the game lets you play the game.
Brilliant.
Surprise.
So good.
Right.
What did you have something final to say? Ian?
I was in the middle of a thought. I don't remember
Did I
it.
lose it?
So
Yeah.
many thoughts.
so many thoughts.
Sorry, the Sony conference is just so fucking huge.
So like it was going so fast paced, like they weren't giving anybody really any time, and it seemed like it almost felt rushed. Like they had something, like we don't have time for this because we have something way bigger to show you.
And there always was.
And
Slowly but surely.
so what happened next, Eddie?
I think we still had a little time before the big one because Adam Boyce was next on the stage, right?
I don't know. All I know is,
Pick an
okay,
order.
let's talk about the ones that are a little smaller. Well, they talked about Dreams.
New
Dreams?
media molecule game.
Dreams looks really good.
It looks pretty. It looks cool. They
I
didn't
don't know what
talk
it is
a lot
yet.
about what we can do, but like they showed, you can like hold the controller and just fucking paint a world
Yeah.
with your motion controls. That's fucking.
And this
really
one
cool.
does have a huge, seamless, semi-asymmetrical multiplayer element where you can just drift through other people's dreams.
Yeah.
And just continue. They want that feeling of like, you know, how a dream goes from I'm sitting in class to all of a sudden I'm on a dragon. How did that happen? That's the feel they're
Yeah.
trying to capture is as you
Is the kind of craziness
migrate
that happens
through-
in a real dream.
Yeah, and as you
Yeah.
migrate through people's dreams, you just continue to get to see
And
these
Devolver
different
Digital
artists.
showed off a sizzle reel.
Yeah, they showed off
Yeah.
4 games.
That was really nice.
They showed off Ronin, which we've seen before, but it looks really good. They showed off a game called ITER, which I've never heard of, EITR, which I'd never heard of, but like it's really cool looking pixel art. It looks kind of like a top-down, like Zelda-style exploration, maybe with some Diablo elements.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
They showed a fucking side-scrolling brawler a la Final Fight that is brutal as fuck called Mother Russia Bleeds. Like,
I love the title.
that's such
So
a cool
good.
title. And then they finally showed, Devolver Digital finally showed a game called Crossing Souls, which I had seen a trailer before and I thought it was a point-and-click adventure, but this seems like a top-down, like, Zelda-style exploration, like, maybe
Yeah.
action game?
Wasn't that like cartoony super 80s like retro
Yeah,
game?
there's definitely some crazy 80s aesthetics going on, and like there's some plot. I know there's some plot elements where it is transferring between 2-dimensional things, and you've got a cast of wacky 80s kids going through shit, and like some of them can jump to other dimensions and interact with objects differently than you can.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be pretty cool. And they showed that.
Some point in there, they showed the a la carte TV. You're going to be able to buy channels, subscribe to channels, whichever you want.
If you want to cut the cord, you can only partially cut the cord. You can cut 80% of the cord and just buy the 3 channels you actually care about from cable.
Yeah, and then
Pretty cool.
they mentioned that Morpheus is still there, and they said that there's going to be
They
some
didn't
cool
really say
stuff.
anything
They
exciting
showed a
about it.
first-person shooter that's going to come out. There's a new
They
IP.
they talked a lot less about Morpheus than I expected. I really thought
expected
this
more.
was going to be a fixation of theirs.
But then,
it says a lot that I'm going to throw into the like little mini stuff. They showed that Taken King for Destiny is going to have 3 new subclasses for all your characters. It looks gorgeous. It was a fucking great trailer.
I could do an entire episode on Taken King, of course, or Destiny. It looks amazing if
It
you're
does.
a
It
Destiny
looks
does
fan.
look
absolutely
amazing.
spectacular. It looks like it might pull me back in.
But before all of that,
But before all of that, the internet exploded. The whole internet, like
The whole thing.
You probably
Twice,
can't-
actually, in one show, the
Yeah,
whole internet exploded.
3 times. 3 times they exploded the whole internet. Like you probably
Yeah.
can't even get this podcast anymore
Started
because
with-
the internet no longer exists.
they started with The Last Guardian, and then Adam Boyce is like, there's something we haven't, we've been you've been wanting for a long time. We feel like it's time to show this off, and they fucking go up to a black screen,
and then the outline of Midgar, just the outline of Midgar.
Yeah, and they have voiceover, which, as Ian pointed out, is just like the voiceover for that trailer, in case you haven't put it together, is just the perspective of Squaresoft thinking about remaking Final Fantasy VII, which they fucking are doing.
Yeah. Final Fantasy VII is finally being remade. You get a little back shot of Barrett. You get a little back shot of Cloud.
At the opening of the game, you get to see fucking beautiful flower on the ground falling with a phoenix feather next to it.
And seriously, because we know you've already seen this trailer by this point, go rewatch the trailer again and really listen to that voiceover, because it really is just Square Enix thinking about releasing Final Fantasy VII, like re-releasing it. It's all about how long it's been since they originally released it, and things might happen. You just have to accept whatever it comes to be when it releases.
It even closes on, and finally the promise has been made.
Yeah. It's like it's all there.
We're promising it.
They just started development, so we don't know when it's coming out. They said they're going to talk about it more in
the winter.
Winter. We don't know how long it's going to be, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's coming out.
It's going to be
coming out, and it says, they say the promise is made, and then it says first on PlayStation 4.
Yep.
Sony wins.
Yeah.
Sony's getting it first.
And then Adam Boyce comes out, and he's like, let's see. Last Guardian, check. Final Fantasy VII Remake, check. What else?
How many years has it been that Final Fantasy VII Remake has been like the unicorn of E3 that nobody ever really thought would happen?
And then
the same amount as this next game that he was like, oh yeah, this. And he points up to the screen, and it's fucking Shenmue. Shenmue 3.
I honestly thought Shenmue was a myth.
I thought Shenmue was a myth. Not an HD collection, not a remastering.
And he has the biggest smile on his face, by the way. Like
he knows, I know we won.
He's happy about everything for this.
He's so stoked.
It reminds me. So
and they decided to kickstart it of all things.
Yeah,
not even just announce the game.
He's like, go to the Kickstarter. It's right now like 3, 2, 1. It's live.
And okay, here's the thing about the Kickstarter. I've seen a lot of people got upset because they did do a Kickstarter for it. Shenmue 2 cost what? $47 million?
I think that's what the article said.
They asked for 2.
Yeah.
They asked for 2, and everyone who paid more than $5, who paid the second tier, which was $29, got a copy of the game. It's basically pre-ordering the game.
Yeah.
And then they had a bunch of cool giveaway shit that was fucking awesome, and Sony is footing the rest of the bill, basically.
Yeah.
And it seems like the ideal kind of IP to do this with. It's got a huge cult following, people that are obsessed with it, but it is sort of niche in some ways still.
Yeah.
And so it let people show the amount of ridiculous interest there is out here for it. I think Eddie just pulled up the Kickstarter
to show
page.
just how much interest is in it.
It's been
now about 24 hours.
It's been about a day.
Just over 24 hours since the announcement, which was at like 6:30.
What are that? Like
8 o'clock in
like 3 million
Pacific. They're at 2.8 million.
Oh, close. So they almost completely broke Kickstarter, by the way.
Yeah, we were.
They
trying
actually
to watch
did
it.
break Kickstarter last night when it first came out.
Yeah, while we were watching the Sony press conference, Ian and I both decided to pull it up on our phones, and it froze at $15,000. And we were like, really? That can't be right. That can't be right. And after about 30 seconds, it immediately jumped.
I wanted to say, I was honestly a little bit worried for a couple of different reasons. One, because, we just got Yooka-Laylee, we just got Bloodstained.
Bloodstained just shattered their video game record.
Both of those kind of demolished Kickstarter. I was like, I don't think gamers are going to have anything left. And
just kidding.
I was wrong.
Yeah, and so you commented that, and then we saw the $15,000 freeze, and we're like, maybe Ian was right.
And then it jumps, it's like, just kidding, it's like $500,000 right now.
Yeah. We started taking bets between ourselves, like, are they going to beat 2 million before the end of Sony's conference?
And then I kind of doubled back, and I was like, oh man, because I was afraid that Yooka-Laylee and Bloodstained was going to hinder Shenmue 3. And then I was like, oh no, another realization. Shenmue 3 might actually hinder Yooka-Laylee because it was Yooka-Laylee's last day. And they hadn't made their final stretch goal yet. And I was like, oh no. Like, is this biting me in the ass?
They just killed the last day for Yooka-Laylee. Holy shit.
I was like, damn. Yooka-Laylee did just barely make its final stretch goal, though. It hit 2 million euros. So it's going to have its last thing.
That said, I do think there's a potential for Shenmue to take away Bloodstain's Kickstarter spotlight.
Oh, for sure.
Like they're gonna.
What was it, 5 million roughly?
Yeah, I feel like the Kickstarter video for Shenmue should have just been the producer or whatever, just being like, "Sorry, Iga, enjoy your 15 minutes."
Yeah. If you guys are listening to this, I seriously don't know how the internet is still working anymore.
It was 8 hours. 8 hours for $2 million. That's ridiculous.
It is so...
I think these are some of the signs of, like, the end times are showing up. The Final Fantasy VII Remake being allowed, Shenmue 3 being announced, and Last Guardian turning into a real
game. There are only two things that have not been announced to this point that would signal truly the end of days. Beyond Good and Evil 2,
of course,
and the PC conference is still going on as we're recording this, and
I'm keeping an eye on it, and still nobody's officially on a stage at least said Half-Life 3. Yeah. According to Ars Technica, several people have shouted it out from the crowd, but
yeah. So if those two games get announced, like, within the next year, we are truly in the end of days.
We'll know this was the last E3.
Yeah, and this was the last E3.
Shut it down. We're done.
Shut down the world. Goodbye, everybody.
Unless you're a Nintendo fan, in which case you're safe, because fucking shit wasn't announced.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
So they opened with a mic drop. Then they picked it up so they could drop it again, and then they picked it up so they could drop it again.
They just kept throwing that mic at the stage,
and then they took a little break. They showed us They showed us a game that I think is going to be really cool called Firewatch.
That was cool. It looked cool. It looked fun. It
had a very point-and-click adventure, old school vibe to it.
Yeah, and then had a good sense of humor.
Yeah,
and
it was funny.
Then they finished it off with some cool intrigue, like, somebody's in your tower. I don't know. Something strange is happening. What's going on?
There's more to this than meets the eye.
So that was kind of cool. And then they went in and they showed a sizzle reel and they talked about all the other stuff about TV and Morpheus and junk that we talked about earlier.
And then they moved into one of the biggest, for us here at Common Loot, we are not big fans of the next franchise, but we understand how big it is for the industry as a whole. And they come out with Call of Duty.
Yes.
If you haven't noticed, if you haven't been listening to the entire last episode and a half, Call of Duty wasn't announced anywhere else.
Yeah.
We didn't just forget to talk about it.
In case you've been hiding under a rock and you only come out to listen to our podcast, in which case, thank you so much. For
we
your
appreciate it.
We appreciate it a lot. But in case that's your deal, they come out and they're like, this next game is played by like 10 million people around the world. It's a big deal. And then they just fucking pull up the 3 lines that are Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Yeah, and they show the first trailer, and
it's game.
As I said, Doom looks ridiculous, and I still feel it's the best game of show. But for the first time ever, I was actually interested in watching this Call of Duty trailer.
Yeah.
Yep.
It looked fast. It looked like there were powers. Literally, a guy just pulled up a Witcher-style wheel, hit immolate, and lit a dude on fire.
Yes.
Another dude possessed a robot tank. Another
Somebody else
guy
just
had a
put
nausea hand.
Yeah, it was like, I want you to throw up, and they did it.
Yeah.
There's wall running like fucking Titanfall.
It was
they were
crazy.
Jetpack jumps like fucking Boba Fett.
It looks like we can convincingly say that when Modern Warfare redefined an era of Call of Duty and made sure that everything that came after it was going to be modern combat,
Warfare.
Advanced Warfare has now done the same thing, because Blops is very clearly carrying on in the Advanced Warfare
But it looks
timeline.
like Advanced Warfare is going to do what, as I understand, Modern Warfare 2 did, and do it way better than the first time around.
Keep making it better.
It seems like they're improving on it in every fucking way.
And we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about Call of Duty because the fact that we're interested in it at all is amazing enough as it is.
I've never played a Call of Duty. I honestly was actually confused when it was announced because I didn't realize why this was a big deal. As far as I knew, Call of Duty had always been on both consoles. It was explained to me that it has to do with the DLC schedule.
It's ever for as long as there's been the concept of DLC, Call of Duty DLC has come out first on Xbox's Microsoft's console, whatever it is.
Yeah.
360, Xbox One, whatever it was, they got their DLC first. And now Sony has said, now it's ours.
Yeah. Call of Duty is now, their DLC will be first on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
It is a huge deal because people generally flock to Call of Duty where the DLC is. I worked at GameStop for a long time, and every year that Call of Duty came out, we sold more than double the amount for the other system.
Absolutely.
I think the words the guy used was PlayStation 4 is the official new home of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Which is
Like,
a
that's
just-
strong
that
statement.
That is just fucking slap-endered around. Like,
Whipping it all over the place.
Yeah, literally just pulled it out, set it on the table, and like, this is what I got.
yeah. They're like, I didn't need to pick up the mic for this one. I'm giving you my dick.
Yeah, I'm literally just flopping it on the table in front of you. Do with it as you will, and I know you'll do a lot.
Yeah. You're gonna enjoy.
Suck it, Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So, and then like, even that I feel like the end of the conference, like the last 30 minutes of the conference, even though the things that they showed and announced were amazing,
Somehow, Sony's biggest, most exclusive franchise was one of the lower points of their conference.
Look, man, after Final Fantasy and Shenmue, there was a refractory period.
Yeah.
Everyone was in recovery.
Yeah, everyone.
Everybody came, and we had to relax and rest. And they showed Uncharted 4.
the thing was, like, we were in the second refractory period. Because, like, we start the show and everyone's just like, oh, no.
Last Guardian.
And then, like, they give us 45 minutes or so and we're ready to go again. And they're just like, here you go. Oh, no.
The spirit is willing, but the body is weak and spongy.
Yeah. I feel like what happened, they pulled it out and shot our loads collectively with Last Guardian, and then FF7 got us hard again. Sorry for the vulgarity, but
This analogy may have gone too far.
It
This may have gone too far.
And then Shenmue sealed the deal.
Yeah, so we just finished it up.
So
And,
really, Uncharted was like the cigarette afterwards.
Yeah,
Yes.
I started with a cigarette to calm you down.
Yeah. It was,
You're like, oh, by the way,
It was cuddles
we're
is
still
what
gonna,
it was,
Yeah, we're
because
still
it was
gonna,
comfortable and soft.
You still love us.
And
at the end of the
admittedly,
day.
it was a really cool trailer for someone who is not a huge Uncharted fan, but thinks the series is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was a really exciting trailer. It had some great set pieces.
Motherfucking destructible environments. Fucking vehicle combat.
Hell yeah.
Fucking grappling hooks.
Hooray.
And that humor, though.
And the
And the
humor is
humor.
still there, and it's the
Absolutely.
writing is so good.
It was nice.
Yeah, so much fun banter between Drake and Sully as they're going back and forth through the town, like thinking they got past this truck that's chasing them. Maybe they didn't. Oh no, there it is. Holy shit. Are we really gonna do that? Don't do it, Drake. Oh, why are you doing this? And then fucking
Yeah,
end.
And I think that was it, right?
that was it.
That was the end.
That
That's
was
what they
the end.
closed on.
That was the end.
So do we want to talk about what they didn't show? Because this was absolutely the best E3 conference. A lot of people are calling it the best E3 conference of all time.
It might have been literally the best E3 conference of all time.
But there was so much that still, like, they just didn't even begin to tip their hand. There was so much they still didn't even show.
Yeah, they're go ahead, name it. 'Cause here's the thing: is that after they were done with all of this, I was physically exhausted.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had to actually sit down for like 20 minutes and not do anything because I was so happy.
So
Yeah.
hyped. So hyped.
So much fun.
Like, and Metal Gear Solid 5 wasn't even mentioned, nowhere to be found.
There was his sizzle reels.
Sizzle reels, but like that's it.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of stuff shown in sizzle reels, but nothing was really mentioned. Like God of War, we didn't get any God
We
of
didn't
War.
get any God of War.
Yeah, that looked like it was. That looked like it was a clip from an older game. So I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe a remaster or another collection or something, HD
don't know.
collection.
No word of Ratchet and Clank.
No.
Nope. And we know it exists, and we know it's basically ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No Drawn to Death, which they
No.
showed last year, which looks really, really fun. What else?
Oh, I totally forgot. They showed 2 seconds of Until Dawn.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
like 2 seconds, literally.
It was really weird. Like they showed, like because they didn't pull it in a sizzle reel. Like they between stuff they showed 2 seconds of Until Dawn, and then they just moved on to the next thing.
And I don't know what it was, but in one of the sizzle reels, and you have to be pretty quick to catch it because it's literally not even a second of this one scene, but there is a scene in space with a planet, and out of the planet's atmosphere, lasers are flying at this mech in space, and it looks very, very Zone of the Enders-y. But we don't know what it is.
Don't get rumors started, Ian.
Yeah.
Don't get rumors started.
No, but
I don't know.
I want to know what that is.
Kojima's leaving Konami.
Some people might not be familiar with the concept of the early Persona games, but it seems like we're in the world where rumors become reality.
Oh my god, how did I forget that they announced, or they showed more Persona 5?
Did they?
No,
They
they
showed
didn't.
a trailer for Persona 5 during the Sony conference.
Did they? I don't
They
remember that.
legitimately
No,
showed
they
it.
didn't.
Yes, they did.
Sure, it was during
During the
Sony?
conference
Are
that
you
wa-
sure?
Yes, I am sure.
during the conference that we watched together.
Yes.
No, they didn't.
They
They
definitely
absolutely
didn't.
did.
There's
They did
no
not.
way.
They absolutely
There's
did.
no way that they showed a
They
Persona 5
absolutely
trailer
did.
and I forgot.
They absolutely did. And
You-
after we finish this, I'm going to look it up and show you. And
No.
then everyone else, I want you to leave in the comments that Steven was right and you guys are wrong.
I'm gonna stay out. I don't remember one either way.
I don't know. I don't
That
know
is-
how I could possibly forget that.
That is not what happened, sir.
Because everything else happened.
That is not what
That's
happened.
crazy.
It is what happened. I'm actually trying to look
I'm
it up
sure it was
right
in
now.
several sizzle reels, but there definitely wasn't a trailer.
I think it might have been in a sizzle reel. But so yeah, like they showed so much, and there's so much more that they could have shown. Like Sony
That we
kind of
don't
has,
even know.
yeah,
It is
Sony
like-
kind of has everything right now.
It is kind of a great time to be a gamer.
Yeah,
And
it is.
honestly, as much as I know you were all, over here blowing the hell out of Sony, like for almost every conference,
Yeah.
even the ones that we really shit on, there was still some cool shit to come out of this E3 from almost everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think even Square Enix, who did the worst possible job presenting everything they fucking showed, the stuff they showed was still cool.
Their problems were mostly in execution,
I'm
not content.
Yeah, I'm still actually excited about a lot of their
Absolutely.
stuff.
And can I say, like, I didn't talk about it before, but like we did really shit on Nintendo for being pretty fucking disappointing. But they did have what was it? Mario and Luigi Paper Jam,
Yeah.
which is a cross between the Super Mario and Luigi RPG series and the Paper Mario RPG series.
Because Fire Emblem Cross SMT wasn't good enough, they had to do Mario Cross Mario.
Yes.
Crossover.
Mario Cross Mario.
You can never have enough crossovers. It's
Never.
Nintendo's new strategy.
Yeah, mix everything with everything, including itself.
Yep. But yeah, this was the best E3 in a long time, and I can't even.
I can't even.
I can't.
That's
even.
the end of
Yeah,
that
that's
sentence.
the end of the
That's the
sentence.
it. That-
Full
that's
stop.
And that's the end. I think that's the end of our podcast. Is we've now already spent more time talking about two shows than we did the other 4
All right.
Yeah.
or 5,
Well, those two are really good.
They were
They were really good.
Amazing.
and really dense. They had a lot of stuff.
There was.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess that's it.
That is it. Thank you guys
That's it
for
now.
listening.
That'll be it for us, unless by 9 o'clock, by the time we get everything all set up and uploaded, the PC gaming tells us that Half-Life 3,
Oh, you're right.
which
I'm not
I
holding
don't
my
know.
breath for.
definitely don't do that.
You'll
No,
die.
that'd be bad.
You will die.
All right, special
die.
guest Van, say goodbye.
All right. It's been an honor and a pleasure, I guess.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.